Hello, everyone. This is a weekly FPL Winners Show, Christmas edition. Oh, I'm welcome with Gianni Butice and myself, FPL Guns, Ali Jahangirov. How you been, Gianni?
I'm not too bad, mate. Merry Christmas to you. And yeah, good to be chatting FPL with you on what is Christmas Eve. The fixtures really do come thick and fast, don't they? Like today, the FPL deadline finishes, the FPL Game Week 18 finishes, and then Boxing Day, Game Week 19 starts. And then after 19, there's like another 24-hour period where you get a day off, but then Game Week 20 starts. So it's a really fast turnaround, which is good. If you're having red arrows, you can combat that by new game week, new players, new transfers, new captaincy, you move on. So it's a good time to have a bad game week in a weird way, although it's never a good time to have a bad game week. But also you can get those green arrows consecutive and have huge games. So it's a fun time of year for FPL, isn't it?
We all love this festive period because there's so many games. We can relax, enjoy the holidays, and watch the games that we love. So it's all good for every follower of ours, every football fan, especially when all of the leagues are basically on holidays, and we all love the Premier League. So it's all win-win for us.
Yeah, all eyes on the Premier League. I guess the Premier League probably love it because if you're German and you're watching the Bundesliga and you go, oh, I've got a couple of weeks off, you might go, I'm going to tune in some Premier League football. So they probably pick up tons of extra sort of supporters just in the festive period because it's the best football on. So yeah, Ali, I guess today we're going to be reviewing our game week so far. There is still one game left, but there's not a huge amount of FPL interest in Chelsea Wolves. Some might have a Colwill, a lot have got a Palmer, but other than that, very few are on Wolves assets at the minute. Cunha and Huang a few maybe. First, we'll just give a nod to Fantasy Football Scout. Guys, if you're not already subscribed to the channel and haven't liked the stream, then please do so. But also check out Scout and the members area this Christmas. You can gift a membership. You can even go on the Scout website and they've got a merch section to their website where you can buy stuff like this. It's a bit late to be gifting a Christmas present now, but maybe a late Christmas present if anyone fancies it. So, yeah. Do check out Scout and all the bells and whistles that come with Fantasy Football Scout, which is the home of FPL for me. It has been for a long time. Andy, where do you want to start?
Let's go with my team first, and then or you want to go with yours?
No, mate, no. Let's start with the green arrow.
All right then. So basically, I've been in a really bad place lately, if you could say so, because I've been hovering around 3 million rank. I went all the way down to 3.8 million, and so basically in 2 weeks I've managed to recover some of it, because now I'm sitting at 1.5 million. So my team is, for the benefit of the podcast listeners, I'll just go through all of the team. And Dubravka in goal, I had Pedro Porro, Simicas, and Gabriel was 10 points. I had Kudus, who's been absolutely brilliant for me since I've got him in my team. Amazing. Martinelli did have his chances, but didn't really do much. Palmer is yet to play, so we have another game against Chelsea against Wolves. Son as a captain, which paid off. Salah was a 7-pointer as well. And Gabriel Jesus with Watkins up front. So I had Darwin on my bench. My only transfer was Watkins for Archer. That was basically because of I saw that he was benched in a cup game against West Ham in midweek, and I figured he has a good chance of getting benched against Arsenal as well. So maybe he comes back for Burnley away. So that was the reason.
He has to come back for Burnley away.
Yeah.
He has to with the injury to who got injured? Who's the left winger? Colombian.
Diaz.
I kept thinking Luis Luis, and I was like, it's not Luis. That's Douglas Luis at Villa. Yeah, Luis Diaz went off injured, and
did he? Like I don't remember, but I didn't watch the game. I watched the highlights, but I didn't know he was.
He took a knock, and he took a knock. He was down and then went off when Darwin came on. Him and Hakpo went off together. Gakpo would have already played, if he plays against Burnley, would have started 3 games in 6-7 days as well, which is possible. But one of them's going to miss out for Darwin. Surely that's the time Darwin comes in. Do you think Liverpool will rest players? Do you think Liverpool would rest a Trent or a Salah? I don't. I can't see them letting up, especially with more points dropped. They'll go full strength at Burnley.
I think so as well because they're right in the title race and it's very very intense up in top three. So I think they cannot really afford resting players at the moment because Tsimikas got injured as well. If Tsimikas was okay, maybe Gomez would be rotating both flanks with Trent as well as Tsimikas, but Tsimikas is out now, and I'm not sure if it's a long-term injury, but it doesn't look good.
Didn't look good at all.
I'm not sure. Maybe the minutes will be managed for the likes of Trent, but I don't see him getting benched anytime soon.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm a Tsimikas owner, and the Tsimikas to Trent sale is absolutely on for me. Like, never has there been more of an obvious sale for me now. The reason I couldn't get to Trent was I had 3 Liverpool. So by selling Tsimikas, who's injured, and by the way, Tsimikas I don't think will be back until Robertson is back. Robertson will be back before Tsimikas is my point. So yeah, I think I've got the exact funds, but we'll talk about my team later.
I can't really afford Trent. because I got Darwin instead of Archer. The funds are spread around my team, and I think I'm 0.8 short of getting Trent. So I'm thinking I was thinking to actually roll this game week to bring Foden and Haaland next game week.
Very nice.
At the moment, I like the way Trent is performing. Has been performing recently, and I think it's a no-brainer if you have the Haaland money. But I can't really afford him, so I'll have to ditch one of my midfielders or downgrade the players. So,
well, I like the fact you've got Martinelli in place because now he looks like a hold. Like, he looked good at the weekend against Liverpool, but when you look at your team and you go, you've got Son, Salah, and Kudus. You've got 3 midfielders that are all leaving us in game week 21. So you're going to be selling 2, if not all 3 of them. So therefore, by default, Martinelli and Palmer feel really safe. So I guess you'll be looking to offload those assets when you bring in like a Foden, for example, next week. What about how you're set with Tsimikas on the bench? Will you start Mark Gahey this week? Who does he play? I can't think off the top of my head who Palace play.
I believe they play Chelsea away.
Yeah. So it's him, or you play Taylor, who again's obviously got Liverpool at home.
Yeah, they play Chelsea away and Liverpool at home for Burnley. So it's the fixtures don't look good. So that's why I'm thinking to get Trent for Tsimikas and take a hit for maybe downgrading Kudus or Martinelli. The thing with Kudus, it's hard to get rid of a player that has been really scoring nice for you, and he's a good differential.
So good.
It's just the Arsenal away game is tough as it could get, but I'm not sure who to go for because Kudus is around 6.9, I believe, and when I downgrade him, I'll have roughly around 5.9 or 6 million. So
Brian Johnson.
Yeah, he's a good option. I'm not sure how nailed he is with the short turnaround because the likes of Lo Celso and Kulusevski, they're on the similar position, and that's why it's just I was thinking about him as a budget option, but I'm not sure about minutes in this tight, schedule.
So I'm looking at Brennan as well. I'll give you my 2 pence worth, Addy. When I'm doing it, just do me a favour. Your microphone on your headphones is brushing against your chest a bit, I think. So just hold it out when you talk, I think, just a tad. I don't know if maybe it's just for my mic, but let us know in the chat.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know.
That's good. With Brennan, I always look at is Postecoglou giving them 90 or is he subbing them off? And Brennan yesterday was a prime example. Like, he gets 90. Someone like Richarlison this season, he's played 15 of the 18 Spurs games. He's only had 2 lots of 90 in those 15 appearances. Brennan, I think, will get some sets of 90, and therefore Postecoglou wants him on the pitch. Therefore, I don't think he's a rotation risk, knowing Son is going to the Asia Cup and now one wide man down. When Maddison is back, though, and when Son is back in the team and Maddison are back in the team and Kulu's back on the right, then, of course, Brennan's a concern. But until the Asia Cup finishes, and bearing in mind, Kulu's playing in the Maddison role in the 10, there's 2 wide spots up for grabs. Brennan's always going to get one of them. So I think we're fine till game week 24, 5. If you did want to go Brennan now, he got 2 assists yesterday. Missed 2 big chances. I think looked really good.
That's the thing. Like, it's a fair point that he's nailed and okay with minutes. But what my perception of a player is that he's too wasteful with his big chances.
Very wasteful, isn't he?
Yeah, it's hard to ask for a lot for that 5.8 million, but he can't be scoring every game week. But he still like manages to. He has a good assist potential, but Richarlison, Kulusevski would be the players I would go for because I like Johnson as a player overall, as a football player, because I loved watching him at Forest. But in this Spurs team, I think all the chances go to Son and Richarlison.
Yeah, it's a fair point too. Interesting one to monitor there, because when you look at midfielders under 6 million, it is fairly slim pickings. Well, if we look back a couple of weeks ago, everyone was in love with Gordon. There was the Aston Villa lads like Bailey, and before that, Diaby doing well, just slightly higher in price. Morgan Gibbs-White was getting a lot of love. Brennan still looks like the standout to me if you've already got a Palmer. And if you've already got a Gordon or don't want to go for a highly owned asset like Gordon, and I know you'll be keen to avoid Gordon because of his ownership, but also he's about to run into some tough fixtures and he's clearly carrying a knock as well. So that'll be interesting if you do move to Trent, Ali. Finishing up on your team then, do you have a benching headache? I'm looking at your attacking 8 players. They all have fixtures you would want. Like, this is before your transfers. Let's assume, and you're going to probably upgrade one of those midfielders. Who are you going to bench? Would you bench Darwin to Burnley? I don't think you can you? He's going to start.
Yeah, he's going to start. I was thinking to bench Kudus because he plays Arsenal away.
Yeah.
So that was my plan. Basically, if I'm benching a player, I might even sell him before he goes to AFCON because he will only have 2 fixtures. And are they all leaving on for the game week 21st? 21?
Yeah, I mean, there might be a few players that do leave in 20, but the vast majority, certainly the big names like Salah and so on, they'll be leaving, they'll play in 20, and then after that game in 20, they'll fly straight out to join the camp. So the camp might already be in place, and there might be teammates there, but because these are big Premier League stars, and the African and Asian countries don't want to upset the clubs too much, they're already stealing their players for a few games, they'll pretty much all play 20. But none of them will play 21. And of course, if they get to the final or the semi-final, these guys could miss 4 or 5 games. If they get knocked out in the groups of either tournament, they could only miss 1 game. So do look at that. I mean, Son and Salah are both tipped to go very far into the competitions, right? They're expected to reach the semis.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in there with you. Kudus has a game against Brighton, I believe, at home in game week 20.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Brighton is still yet to keep a clean sheet. I mean, it's been 19 games already and 18 games already. They've still managed to concede in every single game.
He was in talks to join Brighton as well, Ali. There's a good narrative there with Kudus. Like, he's gonna, they're the 2 clubs he was most likely to join was West Ham and Brighton. So maybe knowing you would have had conversations with them, he'll be really keen to score against them.
But he looks so good. He's also good with bonus points. I thought Bowen will be grabbing all the bonus points, but Kudus manages to get all 3, even with the yellow. That means the BPS is for Kudus. I mean, it's interesting to watch. I watched the game and he looked very lively. His defensive work is really nice. I mean, Kudus is. I think he's going to be a great player for West Ham, and I'm just adamant to sell him at the moment.
Yeah, no, I hear that. I think I would be too. Proper differential for you as well. Okay, so you might bench Kudus, or if you replace him, then again you could bench whoever comes in. But I've got a huge benching dilemma as well this week. Let's just talk very quickly before we move on to my team then about Martinelli and Jesus, because someone I might even bench. And it's a good fit. I don't like Arsenal at home are very good, but I might have to bench Saka. Are you Martinelli and Jesus? You're both sure you'll start those guys against West Ham?
The thing was, I've been thinking about it because sometimes when the players don't score, they get benched, but they've been really on it, even though they didn't really score. Because The fact that Martinelli and Jesus, they're so energetic, they're so like active in the pressing up front. I think it's hard to bench them because of their work rate.
Yeah.
And they've been really, their minutes have been managed every game, because they're usually off at 65 75th minute, and they usually play 60 75 minutes. And that's the plan for both two, because I don't see the likes of Trossard doing the same runs, same defensive work, same pressing abilities. So that's why I think Martinelli and Jesus are pretty nailed, but their goal potential is just not looking good at the moment. Even though Arsenal sits first in the league, they still have a lot of room to improve in terms of attack.
Who takes the next Arsenal penalty? If they get a penalty at West Ham, is it Saka or Odegaard or Havertz? I mean, Havertz is suspended. Does Saka let Odegaard take it, or vice versa? Like, if I'm benching Saka, I'm going to be worried that he's on pens. But is he actually on the next penalty? We don't know, do we?
I think the fact that he hasn't scored for a while now, I think Saka would be the one who takes it, because it's an important thing for him to get his stats right, to get his goals contributions right, and I believe Saka would take it.
Interesting. I mean, of course, Palmer could get a yellow card today. He'd have had 5 yellows, and then he could miss the game week in 19. In a way, I want Palmer to get big points, Chelsea to win, but Palmer also to pick up a booking, because that will be difficult for some, but easier for me. All right, Addy, let's move on to captaincy then, and then we'll see my team. Who are you going to captain? With your early thoughts? So obviously, we don't need to decide till Boxing Day, but you've got some players with good fixtures there. I mean, Salah goes to Burnley, will be the favourite for many, but Palmer's at home to Palace. Son has got a good fixture for Son. Like, you expect Spurs to be scoring against Brighton. What are you thinking?
It's hard at the moment. There are too many options, because I would be, maybe flipping a coin, and because it's hard to say, and the minutes are always a risk at this period of time, because some players are maybe hooked before they even get a chance to score. So I'm leaning towards Son, because he's. With Salah, he's too inconsistent for me. Son plays for a very attacking team, and the Spurs at the moment look more fluid in front of the goal, and they're just creating tons of chances. Whereas Liverpool, they've created enough, but in the oppositions were tough. Man United and Arsenal in the last 2 games, but I'll have Darwin to cover Salah points just in case.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's my thinking. Like, if I don't go Salah, but I've got Darwin on the pitch, then even if Salah bangs, there's a very good chance Darwin's involved, and I'm still benefiting if I did go outside the box. So watch this space with Ali and my captains this week. Let's move on to my team then. Ali, congrats on the green arrow, by the way. I'm delighted. That rise from like 3.5 million to 1.5 million is huge, and you definitely deserve it. Some good, brave calls there, going back to the sort of manager. Well, you've always played your own game. Hello to Gucci in the chat as well. Gucci is one of our mates from me and Ali are in the Ultras WhatsApp group, which is something channel members on my YouTube channel get. And it's good to see Gucci all the way in Australia watching us. And no doubt we'll be chatting on WhatsApp in the next 24 hours with Gucci. And hello to everyone in the chat. Do hit that like button and, of course, subscribe to the channel. Let's have a look then, Ali. Let's have a look at my bad red arrow. I mean, you had returns all over your pitch. The likes of Gabriel and Kudus coming in big, as well as Son and Salah and one or two others. I had very few returns. In fact, most of my returns seem to happen on my bench. That's very depressing. So I've got Gabriel's 10, Taylor's 6, and Areola's 8 all on my bench. And in terms of my 11, the only returns came from Son's 7. That was nice. But Salah's 7 actually worked against me because I didn't captain him. So in EO, his EO was higher than 100 at my rank. And then Solanke was huge. So Solanke, very much the saviour to make my red arrow a small red. Solanke is so good at the minute. And he took his goal so well against Forest. 2 brilliant headers, by the way. I am tempted to captain Solanke in Gameweek 19, Ali.
Oh, really?
He plays Fulham at home. Now, Fulham have just lost to Burnley. Like, Burnley don't beat many teams. I think they've beaten Sheffield United and Luton this season. But Burnley just went to Craven Cottage and won. I think they're going to be. I think Fulham are really on the ropes, and I think Bournemouth are flying. Like they're just winning game after game after game. Sure, I like the Salah option, and it's going to be Salah or Solanke, but I'm tempted. What are your thoughts there?
But is there, is there a fair justification for you playing different? Because I know you like to play different. You like to go for differentials, and Solanke feels nice, but you're in a good rank. I mean, there's no point of going risky because in my position, yes, I'll be picking differential captain every game week until I get the at least top 500k. So I have to climb up ranks, but I like your team because Foden will be coming back. You never know, if Palmer is not in the squad, you will be getting Gabriel points off the bench, and your red arrow could really turn into a green. So,
true.
What was your pre-rank last game week?
I think it was only 155 or 150. So I've had about a 20k green, so red. So
Yeah,
you're right. Gabriel's 10 would make the world of difference. He's about 10% owned at my rank.
Yeah, 10% own, and bear in mind that not a lot of people started him against Liverpool.
yeah,
as
fair.
well. So
Yeah.
it's the active points are huge there. So that was the reason why my rank actually kicked in, because I realized that Gabriel is not played by much, and the 10 points were huge for me. But Solanke was a killer. I would have had a bigger green arrow if. I didn't realize that Solanke is 20% owned at the moment, and it's he's basically saving your game week because, as you said, like you didn't have much of the returns from different players. Captaining Watkins was a really obvious decision, but didn't pay off. He could have easily got at least an assist because for one of the goals were ruled out. On the Fulham and Burnley game, I've watched the short highlights, and in that short clip, I believe Trafford has made a lot of saves.
True. Yeah.
He
always does, though, doesn't he? Burnley do give you chances.
Yeah, Fulham didn't look like a losing team in that game because they were really active. I like the brand of football they play because it's always attacking, high energetic, and I think that was slightly unlucky for them to lose that game. And after winning 5-0 back to back, I think that there is a potential there, and it could be one-off. So I'm not ruling Fulham out. So.
I appreciate this, Ali. You're reining me in a bit, and you're probably right to it because you're right. At my rank, do I need to ruin Christmas and play loose? Yeah. Probably not. I'm going to speak to Dean later, who's obviously a Fulham season ticket holder. He was at the game, and if he tells me, because again, like you, I've watched the short highlights and I've looked at some of the numbers, but I want to grasp on that fixture to know how Fulham are playing. And I think Jimenez might be suspended for another game or two, maybe. Yeah. So again, without Jimenez, they do lack the firepower. I do expect Bournemouth to win. I guess in my head, I expect Liverpool to score 2 or 3 goals against Burnley. And I expect Bournemouth to score 2 or 3 goals against Fulham. So I'm at a very similar position in terms of whose team scores the most goals. When Liverpool score, I expect 50% of the time Salah to be involved. And when Bournemouth score, I expect Solanke at similar, if not even higher numbers, because he's that good at the minute. He is on pens, although Bournemouth don't seem to get them. But Salah does then pick up the extra point for the goal and the clean sheet point. So maybe that needs to be taken into account. So it's a really tough one for captaincy this week. I'm not considering anyone else outside of that. It is those two for me. But then again, let's move away from captain, Ali. Look at those front 8 players, the 7 on the pitch and Foden there on the bench. Which one do you bench if you're Gianni? I'm tempted to bench Saka. I can't bench Foden. He's my differential that's flying off the back of the Club World Cup. Son, Salah, Watkins are non-negotiables. So that leaves... Oh, and Darwin now is a non-negotiable, knowing he was going to start. So Solanke. So it leaves Saka, Palmer... I think it leaves Saka or Palmer, but both are on pens.
Yeah, you could at least wait for the Chelsea game to play out and see the minutes for Palmer, and then make it. Maybe he gets a yellow. It'll make your decision
That would be great.
easier. Yeah. So, but I'm not. I'm an Arsenal fan. I can't tell you to bench Saka or play him because I'm biased there. So it's hard. For me, the reason why I don't, I didn't get Solanke this couple of game weeks because I'm not sure how far Bournemouth will go. I like them as a team. I've liked them since the Eddie Howe times because it's a really nice team, even though they went down and came back. But I just don't like getting players from the uh,
Yeah.
bottom of the league. It's tough because they're so inconsistent. But Solanke have proved me wrong, and I didn't really expect him to score so many points, and it may just easily be a long run for them because all of their top three is in good form. Tavernier and Semenyo is the really decent players that surprise many that can surprise many teams.
Yeah, like you're right. They have got some decent players. Like I think Christie's playing really well. Tavernier's again another one. Billing always looks a threat. They're an exciting team. Iraola is clearly a manager with a good reputation that's come, and it's taken him a few games. Like when at the start of the season, Bournemouth were playing well but losing games, and it was like give him time, give him time. We're seeing his methods now clicking in, and they've gone and beaten United. They've gone and beaten Newcastle. Going to Forest isn't easy with the new manager there, and I think Forest under Nuno will be better short term anyway. So yeah, it was a good performance, but maybe I need to manage the expectations. They are still a second half of the division team, and I think that's fair to say, even when they're around mid-table. Ali, any final thoughts from you on the game week in terms of transfer plans moving forward? We should touch on our route back to Haaland. Like we both probably going to be going. We don't even know if he's fit for 19, but there's a chance if we hear he's fit for 20, we're both going to be getting Haaland in on 4-point hits if we need to, right?
Yeah, definitely. Selling Salah is the plan for me because
Same.
at the moment, the fact that I went for Darwin instead of Archer, not, I went for Watkins instead of Archer, not Darwin. So I've lost a little bit of budget there, and I cannot afford Trent at the moment. So the plan is to get Trent first with a -4, maybe, and then maybe get Haaland and Foden with a -4. So I'm not sure if I can afford them when I get Trent because it's tough. I like Trent. I want to get him in my team now because he's having chances every game week, and it's a matter of time when he start getting all those 20 pointers just like in previous seasons. So for me it's hard at the moment. I have to sell Shimikas for Trent and get 0.8 million somewhere, whether it's Kudus or Martinelli. These are two options because Martinelli hasn't scored many points for me, and he's a differential. The only thing that I'm losing when I'm selling him is a regret if he scores. So I just we'll see. I don't see many. Maybe I could easily downgrade Jesus to Solanke after his hat trick. So it's an option as well. But Kudus is a likely departure for me because I'll be selling him anyways. He just has
I like
a nice
that.
fixture. Yeah.
Because otherwise you're going to be at a place in 21 where you've got 3 players that have left. They're all out, and you probably only want to use one transfer that week, and you're like, okay, I'm going to be left with an AFCON or Asia Cup player for another game week that I don't need them for. So selling one of them early makes sense, I think. But even though he's been amazing for you, no doubt you'll buy him back in game week 25 or soon because he's been amazing. Me buying Trent this week, Ali, means when I make the Darwin to Haaland switch and the Salah downgrade, I then only have 6.6 million to spend on a Salah replacement. Yet if I wasn't buying Trent this week, which was the plan, I was going to stick with Tsimikas another couple of weeks. I then could have got to a Bowen, for example. But now I buy Trent, not only do I have to take a 4-point hit, I can't afford a Bowen style player. I can't even afford a Richarlison. I'm 0.1 short. So that's why I'll be shopping in the Brennan Johnson category. So then I look at it and go, to buy Trent, I have to take a 4-point hit, and I can't get the midfielder I want in Bowen or Richarlison. Is it worth it? And still, I'm evaluating that, yes, it is worth it. That's how good Trent is at the minute. Playing in central areas. He's going to get a 15-pointer very soon. Could be against Burnley this weekend. If I didn't buy Trent this weekend, I'll be buying a defender that I'm just not happy with long term. He's the only one I really, really want. I've got Porro already. So for me, I'm sold. I'm making that move.
So you're selling. What's your second transfer then?
So I'm just selling the one. I'm selling Simicast to Trent, but then it means that forces me into a -4 next week. Because to get Haaland, I have to take the 4 point. Because I plan to roll this week, so I didn't need to take a 4-point hit next week. But look, we never know. Haaland might not be available for game week 20. We still don't know, do we? So again, we'll be looking to see if he's in the matchday squad in 19, if he gets any minutes in 19. If he doesn't get minutes in 19, there's a chance he only gets a 30 or a 60 against Sheffield United, and actually we can go without Haaland for a couple of weeks.
And do we know the injury? Like, what type of injury does he have? Like,
it was a strain. It was a foot injury, and I think it was described as a stress fracture. But I don't think a stress fracture is the same as a fracture, right? There's nothing actually broken. It's so.
Bear in mind that what's his name, the defensive midfielder of City.
Rodri, yeah.
Rodri is a question mark because
went off injured, didn't he, in the final?
Yeah, City is a different team without him.
True. They haven't won with him, I don't think, without him this season.
Yeah, their poor form recently. It just all happens to be when he's not in the team. So
I agree. Yeah,
it's something to bear in mind that Everton away is a tough fixture. Having said that, I can easily accept the fact that the City goes there and wins 3 or 4-0, and it also a possibility. So
yeah, no, I hear you there. It's gonna be a really interesting couple of days with press conference news and leaks and all that jazz. Follow Fantasy Football Scout for all the latest, because there will be press conferences. There'll be dubbed down versions and probably fewer than normal because of Christmas. Ali and I will be back soon. Ali, you're not going to be around next Sunday. You're going to be enjoying, as you should be, your New Year's Eve and New Year's Day celebrations. But I think I'll be stepping in with Joe, and then we'll speak to you in January. So, mate, it's been awesome chatting with you on Scout on every Sunday. If you've enjoyed our regular chats, then do show your support by commenting on this channel, on this video. But yeah, any final thoughts from you, mate? I look forward to picking this up again in Jan.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. This whole year was really amazing, and for me, the experiences I've had this year is really, really they all are priceless. So having you as a co-host for this show is absolutely amazing as well. So I want to thank you for that, and I wish everyone celebrating Merry Christmas, because it's one holiday that everybody's waiting for, and it's a holiday mood. I mean, it's enjoy your turkey for the dinner, and hope you have all Merry Christmas.
Oh, thanks, mate. And just to recap, Ali, it's been the most amazing year for you. If you're not familiar, this is called FPL Winners. Off the back of winning FPL, Ali is now got this regular slot on Scout, but Ali finished 215th the year before and then first last season. Not the best of seasons to date, but he's just had a 2 million rank rise in the last couple of weeks. You're clawing it back, Ali, in the only way you know how to play, which is completely off your back with your own thought processes without too much outside influence. And FPL Chai is in the chat. He's currently ranked in the top 20. And having a wonderful season. I hope Chai does similar to you last year. And he also made his debut on YouTube, on the Gianni YouTube show, which I'm very proud of. My team selection on that YouTube show, on my own channel, is going to be out in the next hour, guys. So I've got a more condensed version of what my plans are. If you want to check that out, you can check Ali out on Twitter. But for now, we've been Fantasy Football Scout. Thank you for supporting the channel. The likes and subscribes are welcome. And stay tuned on Scout for so much rich content in the next couple of days. We'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Merry Christmas, y'all.